This meeting is held on video conference following our examination of the interior of the library, and due to the pandemic, it would not be feasible to have the full board in the library. So now I will proceed with a roll call. Jennifer, please.
Ms. Bernstein,
Here.
Ms. Christian,
Here.
Mr. Globinger,
I'm here.
Mr. Parsi,
Here.
Ms. Shu,
Here.
Ms. Young,
Here.
Mr. Fromm.
Here, thank you very much. Does anybody want to pull out anything from the consent agenda for discussion? I see head shaking, so I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Maura. Second,
I'll second.
I'll second.
roll call, please.
Ms. Bernstein,
Yes.
Ms. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Globinger,
Yes.
Mr. Parsi,
Here. I'm sorry. Yes.
Ms. Shu,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Fromm.
Yes, thank you. Kate, are there any comments from the public?
Not as of yet. If that changes, I will let you know.
Thank you. Then without public comments, we go to staff reports. Kate Hall, you got the floor on the screen.
Thank you. So I first actually wanted to start by talking a little bit. As you all know, the previous executive director, Chad Raymond, did pass away last week. He was the director here for over 30 years and did a tremendous amount over those decades to get the library to where it is today. So in terms of what we're doing to honor him, we of course have sent flowers from the staff and board to Nancy Raymond, his wife, to express our condolences. We also are writing a story, sharing memories of Chad, talking about the legacy that he leaves behind of the work that he did over his tenure here at the library, that we hope to have up very quickly. And then he already has, in the past, we've often collected money from staff and board for auditorium chairs or bricks. He already has 2 bricks and 2 chairs. So we decided that that wouldn't really honor him as much because he's already been honored by us. So we feel that the best way to honor him right now is through our words and hopefully our actions and continuing to create a really great library that will honor his legacy. But of course, if the board has any comments on that or any ideas of things that we can do to honor Chad, I'm happy to, I'd love to hear them.
For those who never had a chance to work with Chad, I was talking to Nancy today and I said, Chad was the quintessential Midwestern man. I had an opportunity to live in many places in the United States. And if I have to picture somebody from the Midwest, Chad was it. Very low key, very easy to work with, very amenable. It was a delight. Thank you. Let's go to.
Well, I still have a few other things for my
Oh,
report.
you do? Well, keep
Sorry.
talking.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Well, I wanted to see if the board had any thoughts on the chat front. So, so kind of speaking of his legacy, we did receive another 5-star rating from Library Journal again this year. We actually moved up within our budget category. I meant to check. We were lower down on the list for our budget category, but still in the 5-star category. This year we came in as number 2 in the nation for our budget category, which is pretty awesome. And so Linda's working on some stuff to put out there. Obviously, we got the news of this right as we learned that Chad was going into hospice and as we learned of the tragic death of Dylan Buckner. And so we kind of set it aside, but we will be putting some stuff out there and it will also be in the March and April newsletter. So we are very excited about that.
Wait.
Congratulations, Kate. How many people are in, or how many libraries are in our group or bucket? Do you know?
Well, So like the oh, you mean nationwide?
That's all, I mean, gotta be many, right?
You know, I mean, so there's 9,000 public libraries in the country. Only about 250 receive star ratings. And of those, just the star ratings within our budget category, I want to say that there's maybe 50,
Okay, that's awesome.
but
Congrats.
that's
We
3,
number
4,
one?
and 5-star. So yeah,
Okay.
sorry, Carlos.
Are we number one in Illinois in our budget category?
Yes,
Okay, and we are number 2 in the nation in our budget category.
correct.
Okay, I wrote to Georgia or whatever, Graves, I think is the name of the editor of the Northbrook Star, and told her that I was amazed that a article listing the Northbrook Public Library as a star-rated library did not have the headline of Northbrook and had the Wilmette. And the reason that that happened was because it appeared before in the Wilmette newspaper, and they just transferred it over with title and all. She wrote me back and she apologized. She says, "You're right, it should have been Northbrook." So my suggestion is for you to send the article that you're preparing
Oh, absolutely,
to
we will.
her and say, we are number
Mhm.
2 in the nation and number 1 in Illinois. And that should be the headline. No more 5-star rating, but number 1 and number 2.
I will certainly pass on the headline piece because Linda was already planning to send the article, but I'll definitely include that as
Yeah,
well
because
for
if you
her.
take 5
She's actually
stars,
here. Linda, I'll still email you tomorrow, but act surprise.
if it says 5-star, we already had an article about 5-star.
Yeah.
But if we say number 1 and number 2, number 1 in the
Mhm.
in the
I
state.
think we have to be careful not to say, I don't want it to be a misleading headline to
we
say
will
we're number
not be
1 in
any more
Illinois.
misleading than Mr. Trump.
It is a very low bar, Carlos. So number 1 in the state, as long as they say it's within our budget category. I don't want other directors to come after me with pitchforks, Carlos. That's all I'm saying.
No, just
So,
say that number 1 and number 2 for the headline, and then the first line on the article explains in our budget category, period. Go ahead.
okay. All right. So that is exciting. So some happy news. I also wanted to just touch on the plans that I had emailed you guys that we did not reopen on Tuesday. And largely due to the fact that we just had a number of staff that are out quarantining, not because they came into contact with people, of course, at the library, but with the numbers being as high as they were, I think it was pretty inevitable that we were gonna see more people having to quarantine because they came in close contact with someone. We do think that we will, and of course, just being down overall, the total number of staffing that we're down by about 12% from before the pandemic. And so we want to be able to reopen and make sure that we don't have to close again. With the vaccine coming, a little bit more slowly than we would all hope, but still coming, we hope that once we reopen, then that would be it. We would not have to close again. I mean, barring like a horrible blizzard or something crazy happening weather-wise, but no more closing for the pandemic. So we will be reevaluating this in February. We want to just get construction up and running first on February 1st, and then reevaluate and then reopen hopefully sometime in February. The numbers are dropping now, which is great. But we just want to make sure that we're not, that we're able to maintain services consistently, and that we can staff everything we need to staff with the staff that we have on hand. So we've been making contingency plans and then contingency plans for our contingency plans to try and think of all the different options. Of course, this has led to some patrons that were unhappy. Of course, you'll see all of those comments next month, but we did have a handful of patrons that were kind of like, this is ridiculous, you should be open. So just so you're all aware of that. We also had patrons that were like, oh, thank you for still considering safety. We understand, we're so happy you're doing these other things. So when we reopen, we do plan to have browsing throughout the library before youth services was not open for browsing. We're also going to put some tables and chairs out minimally, just so that we can start kind of easing back into things. We feel that that is something that we can safely do now. But I wanted to see if the board had any questions on that. And then I just have one other update after that, and then we can go to the next agenda item.
Katie, in your response, you often would cite to the Glenview Northbrook Coronavirus Joint Task Force as providing guidance. And I was just curious, I know that we've had to close because of staff members getting infected. What's been the experience at Glenview Public Library? Have they had similar experiences, or they've been able to?
They have had a lot of people quarantining. Their situation is a little different though, because they have a drive-up window. And so they can have one person that sits at the drive-up window. They don't check anything out. They don't have to do curbside scheduling. They don't have to place curbside holds. We don't have to package everything, move all the books, set everything out at certain times. Our process is a lot more laborious because we don't have that drive-up window. So we have to prep a lot of things. We have been looking into ways to do that more efficiently, and we'll hopefully be able to implement some of that. We now have our self-checks from Biblioteca, so that's going to help. The collection is like 93%, 94% tagged, so we can use the RFID, so that will help. They already have all of that. So they just have a different physical layout that has helped with that. They also, their makerspace finished during the pandemic, and so they haven't actually been able to open it yet. So they have some other services that we've like tried to open, but and then have had to pull back on, that they haven't been able to open at all. It's just so challenging because they are our neighbors. So I talk regularly with the director. She's great. And we try to be in lockstep as much as possible. But then you have these unforeseen circumstances, right? Like we can't control if we have to have staff quarantine. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions? I have one. Are the phase 1B starting? Does that
Oh,
include,
the vaccines?
yes, does that include teachers?
It
And
does.
if it's so, then that includes
It
librarians.
does not of this point. So I can talk a little bit about the vaccination efforts. As you are all aware, the state has given libraries zero guidance on how to deal with the pandemic, saying that it was a local decision on what we should and shouldn't do. So that has been fun. But this is being recorded, so I should watch my tone in case the state library decides to watch this, right?
So what can they do to
But
us?
they can express displeasure, Carlos, and I don't like people expressing displeasure.
Well, we are certainly
No.
expressing displeasure about them.
I appreciate that. Yes, no. So in terms of the vaccine, the Illinois Library Association has reached out to the Illinois Department of Public Health. They have said, hey, where do libraries fall? They have received no response, which is not surprising. They've also drafted a letter that they recommended all of the library directors send to their county health departments or city like you have in Evanston and Skokie. I had already reached out not only to the Cook County people, but also to our legislators to see where we fall, if we fall on the plan. The response I got back was, oh, right now we're focusing on healthcare workers, but no, we don't feel that libraries at this time would fit into the vaccination plan because you are not deemed essential frontline workers. The irony is that IDPH at another point had said the library is frontline, but they determine whether they're essential or not, which to me means we should be able to determine if we're essential frontline workers, but that's maybe too much relying on the semantics. So at this point, I'm continuing to press, the state is continuing to press, the system is continuing to press to get clarity. Lake County has already said definitively that librarians are not included, that they are included just with the general populace. So, and when I say librarians, I of course mean all the staff at the library. Now, I think it is completely fair if they come back and say, yes, any of your frontline workers would fall, but like I, as an administrator who's sitting in an office, shouldn't qualify for that. That seems completely fair to me. Or, oh, you have staff that are in a more dangerous age bracket. Yes, we absolutely should do that. That is not the case. I've been on a lot of calls with CCDPH regarding the school vaccinations. It has not been reassuring at this point. I'm hoping that will change, but I mean, we've vaccinated less than 1% of the county so far. And so it's going to take a long time, even if library staff do get on the list, and I will continue pressing for that. But I don't have high hopes.
Question. Did you speak with Representative Carroll?
I had started out by emailing him. I did not hear back from his office. I heard back from Jennifer Gongershwitz's office and Julie Morrison's office. So that's who I spoke with.
I'm surprised.
And they said they would look into it.
I'm surprised because I got extremely good response from Jonathan
I'm not
Carroll's
sure.
staff.
Okay.
I will
Yeah,
contact.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, and they get slammed with stuff, right? I'm sure. So,
No,
yeah. So if any board members would like to send something or know anyone at the county, I've only been talking to the county health department people. I have not reached out to any of the county commissioners because I felt like I wanted to give them an opportunity to respond.
okay, there is a person in Jonathan Carroll's staff called Mike Amarillo.
Yes,
give
that's his
him
chief
a
of staff.
Yeah, I will give him a phone call, a phone number. Which one would you prefer for him to call you?
You can give him my work phone number,
7081?
7084.
Okay. If not, he will send you an email. Thank you. Anything else? Anybody else?
And then I have one more update unrelated to COVID.
Go ahead.
So the other thing was that I did email you all in the board packet that ILA has their legislative meetups every year. Normally it's at the Arboretum Club in Buffalo Grove. This year they're of course doing it virtually and they are not charging. Usually it's only $25, so it's not like it was very expensive. It is on President's Day from 9 to 10:30. And if you are interested in attending, I have no clue what the format is going to be this year because unlike in previous years, I'm not helping organize and run this one. But I think it is often a great opportunity just to hear what's happening legislatively with libraries at the state and federal level. And usually is a great chance when we're in person to talk with our legislators. I don't know exactly how that's going to be organized this year, but I do still think it should be a valuable experience, if only to hear what is going on. And hope if anyone is free that day, you can let me know and I'm happy to register you.
Kate, I have a question. I probably can't, that's a Monday, right? I probably can't go. I'll have to check my calendar and get back to you, but
Yeah.
I know that I am supposed to do something like this, right? For the grant, right? Something.
Oh, I mean, technically, we just decided, like the board, you guys decided that you would kind of step up on the advocacy front.
Okay, but I'm taking it seriously. So
Appreciate that.
maybe if you could just let me know about other ones, like it could be rails, right? I think it was at the local level, so that would be Illinois, I believe, right? Or was it, I don't remember if it was state or local.
It was local, state, and federal.
Okay, so I think, was it local or state that?
Oh no, it's all grouped in one category.
Oh, any of those, okay.
Take federal.
What's that?
What's that?
Take federal, go to Washington.
Well, we're not going to travel anywhere right now, Carlos.
That's precisely the point. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Kate. You have nothing else, so we're going to Anna, I think.
Actually, this
RFID?
one's me. This one's me too.
Okay. Boy,
It's a quick one. I already kind of started telling you guys about tagging. So in terms of the RFID and circulation renovation update, tagging is almost completed. We're at like 93%. We still have some unique items that Lori Schlernitzower is working with her staff to get tagged. And we're still capturing items that were checked out while we had the tagging company here in November and December. But we're in really good shape. Staff have already started using the tagging pads. We have the self-checkouts that we're getting finished getting set up so patrons can start using those, and look forward to when, of course, construction is done and we can get the automated material handler, because that's where we're going to see a really huge time savings. When we reopen, the patrons will be able to use the self-checks in the lobby so that they'll start getting kind of a sneak peek of some of the features of the new lobby. We also have been told by Biblioteca, which is the company, that it does take patrons a little bit of time to get used to it. So we wanted to give them as much, to give them an opportunity before we completely reopen the lobby to do that. And we're slated to begin construction on February 1st. So that we're about a week away. Circulation is like all upstairs now. So it's kind of wild. And that is all I have for that update, unless there are questions.
Did the tagging go
Maura.
more quickly than than it would have if the library had been like fully open the way, like a non-COVID open?
Yeah, so what they told us is they typically shoot for like finish, because they give us a set amount of time that they'll be in the library tagging. So it's basically like, this is how much we're going to get done during this time. They typically shoot for 85% and got closer to 92%. So that was great. So yes, we saw right about a 7% increase. Lori Schlernauer, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong or if I'm misremembering the numbers at all, but that was what I remember Thomas from backstage sharing. So yes, so they didn't spend less time, but they were able to tag more items.
Okay, so it was
If
more
that makes sense.
Yes, so it was more efficient. Okay.
I wanted to mention something about the app if you haven't downloaded it yet. Okay, you can actually check out a book with your phone. So you just take the book, right, Kate? You
Mhm.
check it out with your phone.
Don't give it all away because I'm going to have Phil
Oh,
present
sorry,
in
stole
the
your
future.
thunder.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's okay.
I'm
No, it's
so
all good.
excited about that. It's like the Amazon Go store or something.
What's the
I mean,
app?
we are next level.
What's the app? Or is it?
The app,
too soon?
it's the new app that I was, the only one who liked the last one, but I think a lot of people are gonna like this one.
Okay.
Just search for Northbrook Public Library.
Oh, I thought it was a specific one for like.
No,
for the
it's our
checkout.
new app, which I know
Got
we're
it.
gonna talk about, but it was related to RFID, and I was really excited when I saw that because
Very fun.
you just check it and you walk right out.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Question. I presume that we are doing an extremely large signage program for the transition and then, okay?
you mean during construction?
While during construction with the self-checkup, especially since you just told us that it takes some time for people to get accustomed, then we need to be very, very clear and very visible for all the patrons to be able to see what we are expecting them to do. So,
Absolutely. And the self-checks are very intuitive. They also have little mini visuals that they take you through the process on them. But we also, fortunately, as you know, have a phenomenal marketing and graphics team that is working on not only communicating what's going on with the construction, but also helping patrons with understanding the self-check. There's a fine line, though, between putting signage on everything and making sure that people are informed, because if you put too much, they ignore everything. So Linda and her team are excellent at knowing just how to get right close to the line without going over it.
as long as I don't receive letters from people complaining, I'm happy. Okay, let's go to temporary COVID sick leave policy. Any questions? No questions. Okay. I need a motion to approve the temporary COVID sick leave policy as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Jay. Second,
Second.
I'll second.
Maura, second. Thank you. You gotta be faster, Sharon. Roll call, please.
Ms. Bernstein,
Yes.
Ms. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Globinger,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi,
Yes.
Ms. Shu,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Fromm.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Now we're going to the RFID and circulation renovation furniture. And as you can see, we are saving about $117,000 from what we budgeted, thanks to some selection of furniture that the staff said they like it something better at less cost. So I need a motion to approve the furniture bid as presented in the amount of $86,435.36.
Motion to approve the furniture bid as presented.
Thank you. Second,
Go for it,
I'll
Sharon.
second it. Oh, I'll second it.
Got in there.
Thanks.
just raise your hand next time. I say, me. Okay. It's Jennifer, roll call, please.
Ms. Bernstein,
Yes,
Ms. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Globinger,
Yes.
Mr. Parsi,
Yes.
Ms. Shu,
yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Frum.
Yes, motion carries. Go ahead and spend the money. Okay, for next meeting, construction update, draft budget for 2022. Wow. And statement of receipts and expenditures. Anything else?
Yeah, Carlos, I had forgotten, we are, our auditor contract is coming up, so Anna's been getting bids, so she'll be presenting the bids to the board next month for your review.
Thank you. Anything else? When is the nominating committee formed? Next month?
March.
March, okay. And when is your evaluation?
It depends, anywhere from March to June, depending on the year.
Okay,
Typically, we shoot
I
for
will-
April.
okay. I will recommend that you wait until I'm out of the board so that only the new trustees will be able to do the evaluation. It's not fair for Kate that I should be putting my nose, but to be fair to her, whatever you decide on the evaluation should be retroactive to the original date. So if we planning to do an evaluation in March and you do it in May, then whatever you decide, it should be retroactive to March.
Typically, Carlos, it's aligned with when we give staff raises, which is May 1st every year.
Okay. But I won't be involved. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? Yes, Jamie? You want to make a motion?
Oh, motion to adjourn?
Oh, very good. Second?
Second.
All right, Karen. Thank you. Jennifer, roll call, please.
Ms. Bernstein,
Yes,
Ms. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Globinger,
Yes.
Mr. Parsi,
Yes.
Ms. Shu,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Frum.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
thank
Bye-bye.
you.